Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode. We're here today to talk about Jujutsu Kaisen and also talk about the finale of Bleach Part 2. And as always, I have here with me Ramon.
Hey guys.
And Ro.
Howdy.
And as you probably heard, we were just laughing because we're like, where the hell are we going to start? You know, we haven't talked about the last episode of Jujutsu Kaisen and the one before that. So we're going to go ahead and just get into it, see what our thoughts on. You know, we know exactly what's happening in Gojo. We got Geto, finally to be revealed. So I'm excited to talk to you guys about it. Ramon, if you want to tell us, what did you think about these last two episodes of Jujutsu Kaisen?
Oh man, well, they were great. I know, like the one that was 2 weeks ago was just so good because of all the Gojo action and how crazy it was, which obviously we're gonna elaborate a little bit about. But I think in general, both episodes to me were just kind of like that resolution that we've been looking for, right? We were trying to see what Geto's, or we found out who's Geto's true identity is at this point. But yeah, a lot of things have been unraveling. Like we're seeing like what their actual plan is, what they're doing. We finally got to the point where they sealed Gojo, which to me is just kind of like that. I think the last episode was called Pandemonium. That's exactly what's about to happen. Like shit's about to like freaking fall apart. It's about to be a little crazy, and I'm here for it. So it's just a lot of exciting stuff. A lot of details in 2 episodes to kind of like talk about here and there.
Bro, what was your interpretation of like that first episode?
It was good to finally get somewhere in the show because like everything had already started building up, and then that was the first episode where like some of that build up is finally paying off, where you finally get the fight, and then you kind of get what they're trying to do, and then you get some cool fighting action with Gojo and some of the curses. So I don't know. I was glad that it finally happened, and it was cool to see all the different aspects of it because of like all the planning that the curses had done, and then also just like and why they have to do so much planning, and then like how brutal Gojo is still.
Yeah,
it kind of gave me some flashbacks from the hidden inventory of kind of what his attitude used to be.
I don't know. There was a lot of crazy stuff in that episode. Like, I think, yeah, seeing Gojo be like full powered. I mean, again, because like the big dilemma at that point was how was he going to keep enough people like safe, right? And still kind of beat these curses and Geto at that point. And I really liked seeing that part of it where at one point you kind of realize that he doesn't have a choice. Like he is going to have to somewhat sacrifice like some life. And they even talked about that, right? They talked about like, oh, like Gojo is only like, I guess, okay when he sacrifices people to curses and not he kills them himself. So they were basically saying that that's kind of his weakness. He doesn't want to kill any bystanders, but I don't want to skip to that part where he just kind of goes crazy and he like do super speed. But like another scene that to me was just like the craziest when he kills Hanami, like the freaking forest or the nature curse. That was insane because that was like the first time in a long while where we've seen him kind of just really use his power to the max. And even just that scene where it's so graphic where he goes ahead and he's like, this must be the source of your power. And he takes to like her eyes that are like basically, like branches. He freaking just rips them off. And then, later on, he kind of polarizes her against like that subway like wall. I was memorized. I think those are kind of the scenes that I have not been able to shake. Like again, 2 weeks out, it's a little hard to remember the whole episode, but that was one of those scenes that I'm like, dude, that's crazy. And then as all the curses were finding out that she was truly dead, it was like, wait, what? So yeah. Definitely man needed to be put down.
I feel like Gojo kind of had a vendetta against that one because he says it like it's like you've gone away from me like twice. And even when he kind of tricked her into like he was kind of like hinting at like, oh, I'm gonna go and fight the lava guy, but he actually was going for her. And yeah. I don't know, man. I've been thinking about that character, and I'm a little bit sad that she's the one that went because I felt like as far as like somebody that just had like potential and it looked cool, and I don't know. I was like, if I was taking bets, I would have not said she would have been the first one to go. And part of me is like, okay, well, she's kind of like a forest, and maybe she's like Groot. Maybe a little part of wood fell on the side, and then she can regrow herself from that. But if she's truly gone, man, that was a really cool character design. Sucks that we didn't get even more of her, and still sucks that this lava-looking dude still. What's his name? Goto,
Jogo.
Freaking dude, they're making the names so ridiculous because
Jogo.
And then you got the blood guy. His name also like rhymes, and it's just like Moho. So it's like okay, this is not working. Choso. Yeah, so it's not working out for me, guys. Like make. I'd rather you make them harder so that I have a reason why. But it's like it gets a little bit complicated when you're trying to like actually say them out loud at the same time.
Yeah,
and then the big thing too is just like how sadistic Gojo looks when he's killing her too, because like he almost looks like he's enjoying killing her, and then just the way where he's pretty much just like squishing her, like with his power, like in a very like brutal way. He's not even like doing it fast, or he's doing it like in a very brutal, painful looking way. So it's just kind of sadistic, which is kind of crazy to think because he's quote unquote the good guy.
Yeah, it's that crazy look that he had when he was fighting freaking Toji. It was the same thing too. Like he was like elated on his like powers and like how strong he felt at that point. Like I guess when you guys recorded that episode, I didn't get to mention that again because I wasn't part of that episode. But like I love that about when he fought freaking Toji, right? Like he was elated. He was like flipped upside down, like like reminded me of just like freaking Ghostbusters, and one of the one demon ladies like floating above the bed. Like it was just insane. Like he was just so elated with how much power he had going through him. And like, yeah, you're right, Ro. Like he was solely and crazed. Like once he let loose, like he was just a madman to deal with. Which I can understand why they want to like seal him so bad. Like without that, then you can do a whole lot more and you can get away with anything you need. Which we obviously know they're a plan now, which is kind of cool. Finally.
No, I mean, I think with Gojo, it's just one of those things, and we've seen it in other media where it's like you have somebody that's so strong, and you kind of get bored. I feel like you get bored of just like living, or if you don't have a reason to like walk around because nobody can challenge you. I mean, with Gojo, we saw that he did learn his lesson. Ramon, when he did fight Toji, so maybe ever since that he hasn't been as cocky. But I could have definitely seen a man that if he never had that encounter with Toji and almost died, he would have just lived through his life being like, nobody can touch me, I'm bored, I don't care about anything. Because I do feel like there's always a disconnect. As much as I feel that he does love his students and he loves the people around him, I do feel when it comes to like the everyday Joe on the street, like he just doesn't care. Like I don't feel like he cares. I don't feel like he'll really think about them in that way just because he's so powerful. And it's this idea of when you have God and God has all these like 8 billion people to take care of, it's like, it's impossible to like care for every single one of them. And it's just like, again, I'm not saying God is bored or Gojo's bored, but it sure feels like that sometimes, right? That's why we gotta like pray and come tell Gojo come and rescue me, Gojo.
That's so true because like how can you even like imagine how someone that powerful really feels about the everyman? Because like the one girl that he cared about that was just like a normal human, like that ended up happening, and then he was ready to just kill everyone because they were being messed up people.
Who's a great example? Omni-Man from Invincible. Like the idea that his dad is just like, why get to live for I don't know how many thousands of years they get to live, and it's just like, like you're just like an ant, and like why would I care? Same thing with like from Watchmen, Dr. Manhattan. It's just like, like why would I care? You're just an ant. Like the smartest man in the world is just an ant. It's just as much of a problem to me as the smartest ant in on the planet.
I was gonna say, also in a few minutes we'll be talking about Yuha Baha, and he did the same damn thing where he's just like willing to sacrifice some of the Quincy's to freaking bring back his other Quincy's and empower himself too. Like some people just don't mean enough, or they just are just tools to kind of fuel these freaking godlike people. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's kind of why they say that the power corrupts, or and they also have variations of that saying that it's not power that corrupts, it's ultimate power that corrupts. But that's the thing, that they have so much power that like they can't care about normal people.
So you agree with Ghetto Brain Demon that he needs to be locked up?
Well, I mean, because he's benefiting the world.
Yeah.
Dude,
but that was...
Go ahead.
Yeah,
no, I was just gonna say, we haven't really gotten much from like that water curse Dagon is his name. Again, with these names, man, it's like Dagon. It's just like
in the background.
But yeah, it's almost like he's almost Geto's like pet, like friendly pet. And I don't know if he's just like not smart enough to have conversations or talk or bring anything like smart to the table. But I don't know, man. I just feel like that's gonna like either it's gonna shock me and surprise me in a very fun way when I do see what that Dagon water curse can do, or it's gonna be very like disappointing. It's gonna be either one way or the other, like super cool or very disappointing.
Well, I think how
locust.
I think, like you said, it's like Hanami was like cool in design, and the fact that they killed her off, you better hope that this freaking Dagon or whatever is better than at least Hanami, at least, because she did look cool. She had some crazy powers that we saw already, like from the last season. But this guy's just been in the background, and even for this fight, like he wasn't really part of it. And I know he was even there when they were playing that one game and they're kind of strategizing. So he's been part of this whole thing. He just hasn't done anything. So how did you guys like that? Well, I mean, I know we're talking about that episode, but I think it was just so significant. But basically how Gojo ends up exhausting himself enough to get caught is by when Mahito comes and he just releases all the freaking humans, like what is it called, turned humans, the altered souls, and then Gojo has that decision to make. It's like, dude, do I let all these other humans die, or do I try to save as many people as I can? And holy crap, did he snap!
No,
insane.
Well, and it was cool too because they were talking about it too when you had the flashback of when they were planning or all that, because they were talking about it, like how many people need to die for him to just want to sacrifice everybody else. Because if enough people die, he's gonna be like, well, I might as well just sacrifice everyone else because they're gonna die anyway. Or if it's like if they kill just enough that he can't go all out yet because there's still way too many people. So it's definitely a very calculated move that the girls had to do in order to for all of them not to die.
Yeah.
But he saved all those people in what, 0.2 of a second? That's what it was,
right?
Yeah. 0.2, like that's nuts.
Because if he would have done it longer, like they would have all died because of like his domain expansion is just like so massive that the infinity thing, I guess, that like so much knowledge floods into their brain that they just can't handle it.
That's crazy.
That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool when they were explaining that, because he was just explaining the idea of like, by the time they perceive the information of like even him going by and these like the altered humans exploding, like they would have all been like brain dead from just not being able to like kind of take everything in. Yeah,
because they didn't wake up from like till 3 months later, right?
Like 3 months later, so he said it's like everybody there.
And that was 0.2 of a second.
Yeah. Is that quicker than the Flash, Raul? You're the Flash expert.
No, because the Flash can go to the speed of light, and then at the speed of light, time stops moving.
But Gojo was going in like circles and killing stuff and doing stuff. So like, what if he was going in a straight line though?
Maybe.
What's it called?
If his domain expansion is expanded enough.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Listen to our Flash episode if you want to hear more about the Flash, because we definitely go into detail.
I wasn't even part of that. Look at that. Here I am plugging you guys ourselves.
But it was just kind of like crazy because even like Mahito and all the other curses, like it took them like a good minute for them to like wake up. So I think if it wasn't for this whole like Geto kind of finally came in and did the whole prison realm thing, like he had probably enough time to even go after those main curses, which I'm surprised. If you're picking like between the bottom or the high ones, I feel like he should have gone for the high ones and then figured out how to handle the bottom ones, even if some people would have, sadly would have passed away. But
that's the thing though, that it wouldn't have been some people. It would have been like the majority of them.
But those guys, man,
because there were so many of them.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just like, they since the beginning of the show, they always talk about like these special like ranked demons, and like to me, like they feel like they're first of their kind, where they're smart, they can plan, they can organize. So to me, they feel like no matter what, like by not taking care of them right away, like you're still sacrificing the majority of people, because if they get away or they do whatever they can do. But again, this is probably, it all goes back to Gojo just being so kind of like cocky, because we see what happens next, with the whole Geto reveal, which was really cool, but kind of disappointing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess that's the next big thing. Like, how did you guys? Because I know you had mentioned Carlos, I think through text, and it wasn't even like a whole conversation about it. But like, I guess his name is Kenjaku, like the brain or the original like cursed sorcerer. But like I got spoiled to that a while back, and I was just kind of just waiting for this point where he was revealed. Yeah, dude. It's remember we were talking forever ago. I mean, I didn't tell you guys, but we're talking forever ago, and I'm like, no, my whole. But like I don't know. I don't know. I think Carlos, you hit a good point. You made a good point about like the best part about that interaction and that reveal is when Gojo still got to freaking Geto's soul, and he basically got Geto to move his body and try to choke the freaking thing. Like that was awesome. Like that's like Geto has to be somewhere in there, or at least like how freaking he said is like the soul must still be connected to the body as well. So I don't know. No, that was cool. I wasn't crazy of it, but I was just I knew it was coming anyways.
Yeah, because like I had already like I knew what was inside his head. Like I always saw a picture, or that picture had been floating around the internet. So, like, to me, that wasn't the reveal, but I always expected it to still be Geto, and he was just kind of revealing the reason how he was able to survive. But then when you find out that it was just this other being from 1,000 years that he's been alive, and this is what he does, that was kind of disappointing to me. But again, now the fact that the next episode, the one you're talking about, and Geto does move his arms, we do see his underlings.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We do see his underlings with these, like, two girls, which we saw in the movie, but we don't know much about them. So it's just kind of like, to me, it's like, okay, there is a possibility. It's like, so you're telling me there's a chance. I'm Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber, so you're telling me there's a chance, even if it's 1%.
Yeah, and I will say that I'm kind of annoyed with all the Jujutsu Kaisen fandom.
Oh, the spoilers!
Like I'm mad, dude. I've never been so spoiled with any other anime than with Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah,
like I don't read the manga. I'm not going to read the manga. But like now, there's no point because I know what happens, and that's what I get for following anime on TikTok and social media.
Yeah. You get spoiled to the big one that just happened, or like
I thought it was dumb.
Yeah, like it
was.
We won't even do that for the people listening that aren't spoiled about it. But it's like they made it so hard because even people were just everywhere.
And it's so crazy because like Demon Slayer, like we talked about that show, and to me that has big spoilers still ahead. But I don't see them floating around. But I think it's the fact that
not even One Piece. I don't have any one, and it's been going on for like decades.
Dude, I didn't know I didn't know Jiraiya died, and that was like years of like Naruto.
Oh
what the hell, you know?
Well, yeah. Dude, the big three, like there's no spoilers on the big three, and they're the three biggest animes.
I think the problem is that like Jujutsu Kaisen, sadly, it's not over. Like it's not like, oh, it's completed and nobody's releasing new chapters. I think the problem is that they're releasing new chapters, so people, when they see the new chapters, it just like they make a big deal out of it. But then you're right, bro. There's these TikTokers making specific videos about these reveals, and it's like, okay, that's a little bit different, especially because TikTok's like getting your face right away. So it's like you don't even have a chance to like be turned away from it.
Yeah. They're not even like spoiler warning or whatever for people that don't read the manga.
Ramon,
like surprise.
Ramon, what are you thinking? I see you're very focused. You're looking at me. So Ramon, you're so focused. Like, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts were that, you know what, like we can't discredit the fans, right? Like I get it because I do watch a lot of these TikToks, especially where like people talk about like these new like manga panels that got released. Like I've been seeing a lot of stuff for Boruto, and I don't even watch Boruto, and I'm already like spoiled for you. I'm already spoiled for you. But see, that's what I'm saying. But I get it because a lot of the people that I do follow that end up spoiling this, they're more excited. They're talking about it. They're people that keep up with the manga, so we can't be upset because Carlos is the one that does the best with manga. I'm not going to have the time to do it either. But I think if I was reading the manga, I'd probably be making TikToks about it too, or I'd be telling Carlos like nonstop, like, hey, dude, like, check this out. But I do hate how like that kind of social media is so like uncensored. Like there has to be a filter for no spoilers, please, because it does suck. Like when I found out this new spoiler, I was just like, what? Like you couldn't go back. It was like a second is all it took for me to find out. And then, not that I didn't want that to happen or something that I imagined happening, but it's just the fact that, like you said, Raul, well, what's the point now? But again, it's a journey, and we're watching the anime, so like, fuck it, stick with the anime.
Yeah, no, and hopefully people don't look up what we're talking about with the latest chapter or anything like that, because you haven't spoiled like don't do it to yourself because it's gonna ruin a little bit of the fun. What did you think about this whole prison realm, man? I thought it was kind of like just like the curses. This idea of like holding Gojo for 60 seconds, like still for it to be able to like trap him. I'm like, that's never gonna happen. And
yeah,
and
it didn't happen. It wasn't 60 seconds, but he got around it, right? Because he said
I think it was
perception
like
of.
I think his perception, like 60 seconds of that moment, he thought about Geto. Like I think that was a minute. It just for him, it like didn't seem like a minute, but it was a minute for Gojo.
I mean, if you think about it, like he's just spent like 0.2 seconds, like 0.2 of a second, like just freaking doing that whole thing. And I could see how like being in that mindset of just like, you know, thinking so quick, acting so quick and doing so much. And then to have this like freaking reveal that he's just kind of like, what? Like, you know, he was very dumbfounded. And I think that, like I said, like Carlos said, it's like he didn't even realize how much time had passed as he was trying to like absorb this information. I thought it was cool. I mean, I knew they were trying to seal him or like, because I know they weren't going to be able to kill him, but I just didn't expect them to be successful. And now that they're successful, it's everything that they're talking about. What's happening next is what's getting me excited for like the rest of the season.
Gojo looks too relaxed inside that prison realm. Like I'm like, I understand that. I guess time is not passing while he's in there, but he just seems like he's having like a great like, oh, finally I can like just relax.
Yup, he's like time to rest. I think it took him a while to realize that it was like seriously holding him there. Like he wasn't really stressing about it for a good while, and then eventually he was like, oh, this might be annoying.
Yeah, but like he's still able to like do stuff because he managed to get the box to like fall or whatever. Because I don't think it's like finalized because I think he's
not
still
finalized. No,
I think he's still able to do stuff.
I mean, so then what's the plan now? So what are they doing now? Because they said obviously they don't even need Sukuna anymore, right? Like, is that what they were saying? Because that was like, the whole point. It's like if they were going to use Sukuna to fight, that
was Plan B. But I guess they don't need Plan B anymore.
Yeah, in order to defeat Gojo.
Well, they have a bet right now, isn't it? Don't they have a bet that if the blood guy and the volcano guy, it's like what is the bet they have between each other right now?
So Patchface and
Mahito?
Yeah, Patchface and the blood guy, they just want to kill
Itadori and
Itadori, but the volcano guy Jogo. He wants to keep him alive because he wants to get Sukuna. So if Jogo finds him, he's gonna keep him alive. If the other two find him, then they're gonna kill him.
Okay.
Or they're gonna try to kill him at least.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's gonna see. I think now it's gonna be more fun, man. Honestly, like not having Gojo and to like be like, oh, he's gonna come and save the day. It's gonna be more fun because now we're gonna see a lot of more cool fights. Something that we didn't talk about, but that episode ended with Itadori having a Mekamaru in his ear, and then we saw more about that in the second episode, which
I think that was cool.
That was cool, man. Did any of you kind of have a little bit slight of hope he was still around, or it's like
you said that you're the one that was like, oh, why couldn't he leave like a message or something in some way? Like I know you were talking about lawyers and stuff, but like ultimately that's what you were talking about. That you were kind of would have hoped that we would have had some backup plans in case he would have died, which is really cool because I was like, why wouldn't you leave a pre-recorded message on the body that was with the girl that he's interested in?
True, exactly.
But I mean, but like a near piece, I guess is kind of cool. A little creepy too, but he ended up having more too because he had like the video camera one that he had like up there recording them and all.
He had them all over the place, so it kind of makes you wonder how many more he has and where.
Damn.
Yeah. No, and like I finally understood. Like thinking about his fight with Mahito, I finally understood that like he was so powerful because he was like saving up. He was using all that energy he had stored up. But I think once he would have reached like 1 year, 2 years, like he would have been back to being just like a normal kind of dude because he would have had to have store the energy again for a couple of years before he could be treated as like
the special grade,
like a special grade to be considered like a special grade.
And I do have a question about that too. Would he have gone back to just being a normal sorcerer, or still like with the high amount of curse energy because of the heavenly pact?
No, he probably would have been a normal sorcerer. And the thing too is like, remember, he really just wanted to join the team back up again. Like, I think he just wanted a life of like inclusion where he wasn't stuck in some room like connected to tubes in a freaking bathtub of like despair.
Oh, dude, yeah.
So I think, like, I think Carlos is right. I think he would have used all the cursed energy he had saved up, and then I think he would have just gone back to being a regular sorcerer, like pretty good puppeteer and stuff. But I don't think he would have been doing some crazy like mecha like fights anymore, because that, I mean, all that stuff is crazy, man.
not sorcery.
Yeah.
But no, man, I guess, yeah, going back to like bless you, bro. Going back to like the newest episode, I mean, is there anything like super shocking that we got from that?
I thought it was cool that, well, in the newest episode was when Gojo was in there, but I thought it was cool that he still managed to do something from inside of the box. And then just the fact that like Itadori yelling out to the world, "Hey, Gojo's,
oh my god,
Gojo's in prison," and then you saw some like some of the bad guys reacting like, "Oh, they actually got him." Dude, and it's crazy to think like if something happens to Gojo, he's the last of his clan. So
that's
I don't think that he has any kids.
Well, they
have any kids.
They mentioned that the guy from Jujutsu Kaisen, the movie, he's a descendant of Gojo's like family tree, so that's somebody.
Utah.
Oh, the guy with the curse.
Utah.
Yeah,
that defeated Gojo, or not Gojo?
Yeah,
I thought he was just like to his potential. I didn't think they were related.
I think there was like, it's like if you do a family tree, I think there's like a branch.
Kind of like a branch.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah,
probably like,
but he's not part of the
Gojo.
But he's not part of the Gojo clan anymore. He's just relative somehow.
No, not at all.
I could see that. I mean, and that's another thing that's been spoiled to me is this, or not. I guess not a spoiler, but it's just like he's coming back, and we all knew that he was going to come back at some point. Because you know, after the movie,
didn't die.
He didn't die or anything. He just left with that one guy, Mario or whatever his name was, to go like eat brunch in Paris. Like, I don't fucking know. That was the last thing we saw of him.
No,
I don't know. I gotta watch the movie again because I forgot what happens.
You gotta watch the movie again, man, for sure.
Dude, but yeah, no, I mean,
I gotta watch the end of it at least.
Yeah, Itadori, shut the hell up from screaming.
No, but I don't. The only thing that I'm looking forward to now is just seeing like everybody actually go all out with their skills or sorcery or whatever they call it that they do. So I'm sure some of them are going to be cool. And then that Sennen guy still we haven't seen what he can do, so it should be cool.
I want to see Itadori fight someone else besides a stupid grasshopper locust thing. Like, yes, I want to see Mahito and him go at it again.
I want to see his best friend fight against not Itadori.
Yeah. I want Itadori's true powers to be revealed so that I feel like confident rooting for him. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Dude, is he going to do anything besides just like a more like powered up physical power?
Some ability. He has to have some kind of cool curse ability, which I don't know if it's again that there's been a
swallow really good.
He can swallow.
Oh my god!
Swallow fingers.
Well, my god.
Well, you know what? Actually, real quick, I do want to
reading. No.
I do want to say that Itadori, you know, they've always mentioned like he's been strong, fast in high school. First, going back to the first episode. I strongly feel like Itadori must have, and I don't know why they don't tell him, but it's like, dude, somebody must have made one of those packs. A heavenly pack. Like, it's the only reason. It's the only thing that makes sense, like, why he would be at this strength level. So I'm a little curious now about Itadori, because I always thought that Itadori was just going to end up being, like, just your typical...
At the cost of what, though? Because he has curse energy. Unless he wouldn't have had curse energy, but then since he swallowed the Tsukano's finger, that's what's giving him the curse energy.
Well, I just want to leave it off. Like, if we don't talk about this for a while, I do feel like Itadori has to have something because he doesn't have a mom and dad. His grandpa raised him. He's super strong. So there's more of a story and why they never chose to look into his background to like see what the details were. Yeah. But that's my thing I want to call out right now.
I forgot about that. I forgot we discussed that when I first started watching it and how it was like, oh shit, like does he have a quirk or something? Because it's like out of nowhere he was throwing the baseball like super quick and stuff like. I don't know. Crazy.
And breaking his finger?
Yeah. Push.
My Hero joke for whoever hasn't seen My Hero Academia.
No, definitely. But let's move it along to another show that has reached its finale, Bleach. You know, we're gonna talk about the last episodes that just aired this Saturday, we got 2 of them, which was kind of nice because honestly, they could have dragged it on for another week and it would have been okay with me. But even the one before that, I do want to talk about that one because to me that was very exciting because that episode
and it all fits together.
Yeah, that episode starts with like a meeting between like back 1,000 years ago, and some information's revealed, some information that fans didn't know about, some information that the creator has come forward and said like this is what it was meant to be from the beginning. So I liked it a lot. But what did you guys think about the last episode of Bleach, the one where it starts with the meeting?
Well, I thought it was cool. Honestly, I didn't even know that it wasn't part of the manga. Until you told me that it wasn't part of the manga. But yeah, it was cool because like it kind of raises the level of Squad Zero because it wasn't even like the Soul King that was at the meeting. It was not even the whole Squad Zero. It was mostly the paintbrush guy.
Yeah,
that was there, and then just like how the fact that he stole his eyes, I didn't even know that he had eyes to be stolen. But I don't know, it was just really cool, and then it kind of like shows like, oh, Jesus,
yeah,
he's a lot stronger than you ever imagined.
That's what me and Ramon were exactly talking about. It's like this idea that the Quincy King is actually God, and then that's his son is Jesus, and again, it's the whole thing from like the very beginning. It has always given me those vibes. So like now it makes even more perfect sense that he's playing with those ideologies,
but like evil Jesus.
Yeah,
Jesus. Sorry, he's Lucifer.
Who is?
No, you have.
Yabba dabba do.
Oh, like a fallen, like a fallen angel. Yeah. No, I think Jesus definitely because of all the followers.
No, I think he's more of Lucifer.
He walks on water, turns it into wine.
He has a bunch of followers. They have the cross,
like Lucifer.
The cross. Yeah,
Lucifer does too. It just upside down.
but no, again,
demons.
That's true.
I think with the Soul King, this whole idea that like he gave his left arm for him to like give it to his son so that his son's power with his eyes, which I don't know what they do, get taken away. I thought that was like really interesting stuff that I didn't know about, and it makes more sense, especially as you keep going with the show. But I liked that a lot. That meeting to me was like something that I just keep thinking about in an episodes where we've gotten some really good stuff in these last 2-3 episodes. Like that meeting alone is like what keeps resonating in my mind.
Well, that was my reveal in this show that I was completely not expecting because I did expect Yhwach to be. We already saw his like origin story of being born out of like nothing and stuff like that, right? And we had talked about the whole how he's like Jesus and all this stuff, but it's like I don't know. I guess maybe because I haven't watched the rest of Bleach, that I really don't know more about the Soul King to kind of even would have like perceive that idea. But if you guys are telling me that's not even a thing, so I found it really enjoyable to be like, holy shit, like he's the Soul King's son, then perfect. Now all this is even better because now he's coming back with like a vendetta of some sorts because he's like angry that yes, he got banished from paradise, that he got pushed away, but whatever, bro, whatever. But yes, like so then it makes it even more like Yhwach's like mission is even more admirable, and I can kind of relate to him now. Now the fact that you're finding out in these last couple episodes that he is willing to kind of like, you see what he does with his Quincy's. He basically sucks the energy out of the dead ones to give, or not even the dead ones because he killed some. To give them to either himself or to give them to the other Quincy's that were already dead. Like like that whole idea. And the whole reason why he's trying to get to the Soul Kingdom, like this just makes so much more sense. And I think it's just got really good. And I forgot that Ichigo even exists because he's not part of this fight. And this fight was so great. Like all these, like the Zero Squad and all the Quincy's that are up there. Great.
Dude, Ichigo hasn't really been part of like this whole
no.
Yeah, like he's had like small, tiny, like 30 seconds at the end of each episode, and then he had like one episode where he finally showed up, and then like the beginning of the next episode of him going up, and then that's it.
That's the joke right now. It's like Ichigo just went down to go back up.
Yep.
Yeah.
So kind of like it sucks, man, because again, he's your main character. But I mean, let me ask you something, Ramon. If they could do Naruto a little bit more cleaner nowadays, wouldn't you want some of these like fights alone with like Kakashi Sensei versus whatever?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's like you want those. So it's like I don't fault the show because it's like it's bigger than life, so you do gotta do those things. Like
exactly.
If this show was sort of like, you know, One Piece, that's the one thing about One Piece. Like Zoro or Luffy can have a fight with somebody for 15 episodes. Nobody complains. It's like 15 episodes and like Zoro's been fighting the same character. It's just like
I complain.
You complain.
Especially in the Flamingo arc.
But yeah, so I don't know, man. I don't really want to complain that Ichigo, because I think, you know, I've gotten a lot of Ichigo. You haven't seen the earlier seasons.
Yeah.
If you had, you would be like, well, I got 300 episodes of Ichigo, so like it doesn't hurt me that I'm not seeing him.
I'm actually okay with it too.
I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is for me, is that I haven't seen Ichigo and it's all like coolness and stuff like that. But it's funnier because I think once you find Yhwach is the Soul King's like son, like it doesn't even, like Ichigo doesn't even matter to this point, right? I don't even care about him because I'm so invested in, and like you said, the greater than Ichigo fight that's going on right now, and it's between the Zero Squad and Yhwach and his like Quincy's that he took up there. And like, yeah, in reality, I can say like, oh, cool, next season, yeah, Ichigo will get there and Ichigo will probably do something, but I think it's gonna be once like, you know, Yhwach defeats like the bearded dude, the paintbrush dude, and you know, like, so yeah. But at this point, yeah, no, I think that the story does fit really well now that I know that that's the son of the Soul King, that he's coming back for a reason. Yes, that meeting was great because you find out like he's not even just as powerful as you've seen him, he's even more powerful than you thought, because he apparently had this like crazy lost freaking crazy eyes that we didn't even know that were a thing. So I don't know, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Dude,
I like that he's doing an insurrection against the Soul King.
I mean,
oh my god, stop it.
I'm gesturing for horns for whoever.
Yeah, oh really? Oh, okay. I thought you were just trying to
no
double him, dude.
No, dude, and that, like, you know, when he did make it up to you know, the Soul Palace, I like that whole interaction, man. They were all, the Zero Squad was ready for him.
Yeah,
I like that he had these Quincy. He kind of took these Quincy's for the ride by hiding him inside the shadows. So once he got up there, he was releasing them like little by little. Because there was that one Quincy that he released where it's like, oh, as long as like nobody can touch me, like nobody can get close to me because everything will curve around him or whatever. I thought he was so cool as far as like how his power went. And then here comes this like Zero Squad member with a needle, and she like does something on him, and then next thing you know, he gets crushed. And I'm like, oh, dude, like that was actually like a Quincy that I didn't like how he looked, but his power I thought was really cool. Because I'm like, this idea that like nobody can touch you, and if they even get close to you, it's like their body's gonna like start curving. It's like so cool. But that guy didn't last like a minute.
I think all the Quincy's there, the only one I wasn't crazy about was the one that looks like Thor. Because Thor, like
he's just a strong Quincy,
with the shield and the spear and stuff. I forgot what he even had. He just kept on thinking Thor.
His sword and a shield.
Yeah, shield. And it's like, but yeah, everyone else, like I think I was really enjoying even the sniper guy, right? Like the fact that he's not even shooting bullets, but he's shooting like ragey, and it's like all like focused energy. And then I think in the most recent, like the last episode, I think when the fights are getting crazier, and he's explaining that he can shoot it like anywhere between where he shoots and then his target. So when the Sanpakuto creator, like Zero Squad member, I don't know these guys' names, I should look it up. But when he was saying like, oh, you're not gonna hit me because Yhwach is like right behind me, and he's just like, nope.
No, because you were my target, so like nothing between. Yeah, dude, and like by that point, but by that point he wasn't even shooting bullets anymore. Like originally he was shooting like the whatever, but then he got his wings, like he wasn't shooting anything anymore. It was just like he was not even like, shooting.
It just holes that whatever was in that trajectory or in the x-axis or whatever, it was just like disappearing.
And then like you have the one Quincy that he like we've seen him. He was on Ground Zero when they were all fighting, and then he actually made it to go with us.
The good looking guy?
Yeah, the good looking guy. And I'm like, I don't know how I feel about him, man, because he seems like I now that I hear him talk about himself, and it's like, oh, everybody always thinks that I'm just like no one or not important, and they underestimate me. Like, I don't know, man. There's something about a guy like that I kind of want to root for. So that's
so his thing is he can't. So he was saying on how he can't die or whatever, wasn't he?
That's how I took it as.
I was thinking, well, I mean, like, yeah, something like that. But it's something like what I was understanding of his power is that he's able to control, like, lethal doses of like blood and stuff like that. So he's able to create
of like anything. So
yeah,
like,
anything,
like
yeah.
So like like a lethal strike, he can reduce the lethality,
oh,
of
that's
the
cool.
strike.
Yeah,
and against his enemies, he can be like, "Oh, your blood is getting so like crazy, like so poisonous that you're gonna die
much more
which
lethal.
is what he did to that one Nimaya or whatever his name is. But yeah.
Well, the guy that's, I mean, he was, I don't want to give him crap because he was the one that kind of came in from Zero Squad and started like right away, like taking every single one of them down by one. But he was the one that kept getting revived. And this is the guy that, his power, what is his power? He doesn't create the swords. He's the one that creates the... It is the one that creates the swords, right?
He creates the Sanpakutos, yeah.
He creates the Sanpakutos. Yeah, like him. Like, he just kept getting revived over and over. And I'm like, dude, that kind of sucks.
But his entrance was really cool. Like, that
his entrance was awesome.
3 episodes back now. Yeah, like, it was cool because, like, you wouldn't even hear his sword or anything. You would just hear, like, this weird, like, rumble, like, humming sound. And the next thing you know, they're like... blood splatter everywhere. Like.
And then the guy with the shower, he's supposed to be the fastest. So like the idea that he's the one that's actually being so fast and like took all of them down instantly, like that to me, it's like I do want to give him props, even though he kept getting like defeated.
Yeah. Dude, and that sword is insane because like he was saying that like it's so sharp that he couldn't even have like a scabbard for it. So like he kept it like in that gel thing.
Oh yeah, we're talking about
because like. And that's the reason why it didn't go down to a Soul Reaper because like they couldn't get a scabbard for it, which is like insane because that's how sharp it was, and that's the one that he was using.
I like all the Zero Squad's abilities from what I'm seeing, man. Like they all have a purpose and they're all cool. Even the girl that made the bird cage, like I'm like that's really cool. This idea that you can't escape it, and the more you try to, it just feeds into it.
Yeah.
Well, because it's stealing the reishi or whatever, and that's what it's using to like grow. But like I don't know why, or it's a thing in anime that like wood is so powerful. But like in some ways, it totally makes sense. But then they do it so much because like in Black Clover and like pretty much any anime. Like this wood style is just so powerful, but like I see the versatility in it, and then like their endurance and just the fact that like you can bend wood, so it's hard to like break and stuff like that. But it's a thing. But it seems so powerful in these animes.
I was surprised that Ichida and then the other guy, the Quincy, the B one. I was surprised
they didn't do anything.
Well, not that they just didn't do anything, but they got taken down. I'm like, oh, like, dude, like, we actually saw you guys, like, I mean, I know they get powered up later on, but I'm like, just this idea that I would have thought maybe they would have been strong enough to, like, especially Ichida, because, you know, he's a good guy. So I'm like, oh, well, they're not going to, like, hurt him at all because he's Ichigo's friend. But even he was being, like, you know, they were tackling him as a full enemy. So that was kind of cool.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I was kind of seeing that as, like, I don't know, like, I guess I liked in the scan of 3 episodes, I really liked the back and forth between the fights. Because it really had me rooting for... I mean, you know, obviously, we're still rooting for Quincy's a little bit here and there because you're seeing their abilities. They're kind of... shut up a little bit. No, I mean, just because, you know, you're seeing them do stuff.
That was a devil worshiper.
Because he's just...
I'm all Soul Reapers.
There you go. But no, like, I really like the idea that there was a back and forward, that it wasn't just one episode of, like, the Quincy's were, like, all destroyed or the other way around. I really like the Zero Squad. I like finding out their abilities, I think, in general, was more exciting than the Quincy's, because Quincy's to me now are just kind of like, oh, whatever. And then they get powered up later, and they're like, oh, cool, now they have wings, now they do something else. But I think seeing the Zero Squad's abilities, like, in general, like, the ones that we hadn't seen, like, seeing, what's her name? The one with all the hands shoots her out.
The arms, so yeah.
She is so versatile.
With like the needle and the thread or whatever.
Not just cool, that, but everything she does, like, she does so much stuff. Like when that dude got the holes. Yeah, when the dude that got the holes, like that, there was the one time she gave him like a little blob, and then it opened up the spider web.
Yeah,
that one time when she put her hands all like together up in the air, and then it made that umbrella around her to block Ishida's attack. Or wait, was that Ishida that attacked her at that point?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was Ishida's attack. Oh, his arrows. Yeah,
and so like all kinds. And then
like
obviously
the environment, she can like hide the environment you're in by.
Oh
yeah. So it's just like, dude, she is.
And then just the whole fact, and I don't even consider Ichibe the bald bearded guy with the paintbrush, like he's in a whole different level because he's fighting somewhere else. But like I think her, and clearly at the end when you find out that basically the Zero Squad.
Her domain expansion?
Yeah, their domain expansion. That the Zero Squad's full potential was like so powerful that they had to kind of hide it in a blood pact. And that in order for her to like use her Bankai, or I guess the closest thing they would call to a Bankai for them, but they still call it Bankai. Anyways, that they had to commit, they had to sacrifice themselves for her to be able to use that Bankai. And that was like freaking crazy. Like in that Bankai, and I don't know like the extent of how crazy a Bankai gets, but she did it all. Like, she freaking did some crazy stuff within that Bankai. Like, she killed everybody a different way. Like,
dude, and to think about it, it's not that she got stronger when they like killed themselves. It was that she just went back to her normal power where it should be because she was so powered down.
That's crazy.
That just
because then like everybody
her Bankai, it makes sense because that thing's powerful as well.
Because it started like rumbling, right? Like Soul Society started rumbling, like the
whole sky got like purple or whatever.
It was like some weird color. Was it red? Yeah. I don't even know. I feel like everything was been red, but it just felt like it was more red.
Dude, you know who they keep giving like more screen time? That I'm like, dude, like this character keeps going up for me. Like from somebody that I thought was like a joke. It's a zombie girl. Like the zombie girl, like she keeps getting so.
I was gonna ask you guys about that.
She keeps getting so creepier. Like when she was like feeding on her, I'm like. Yeah, I was like, oh my god,
I don't want to die. Like, you're already dead.
First of all, what was she feeding on? First of all, because I was just like so confused by that.
She was feeding on her.
I know, but what part of her, Raul?
I know.
That's no. And then obviously we're still calling her, but we know it's a guy. But like, no, that it was just so crazy because like you're right. Like I saw her and I'm like, why are we showing her again? Like I thought we were beyond this. I thought we were past this. And even though they were showing like the head captain too, and like how he was saying like, okay, well, I'm not like, do I have permission to leave? Because clearly this is not where the fight's gonna happen. Like there was like few interactions, but hers did seem a little strange, especially when everybody started dying when the Yuha like did the Quincy absorption realm thing and he sucked all their souls like that. I don't know.
Especially because like it seems like.
I think her, the Moth Girl, and the Mohawk guy aren't gonna go up.
No.
Somehow they're gonna resist it.
Well, the Mohawk guy, like I feel like he didn't get disintegrated into skeleton, into like bones when he got hit with the thing.
He's the finger guns guy, right?
Yeah, like he didn't get disintegrated, but then Bambi's and the zombie girl's like friends, the two friends, I felt like they got disintegrated into bones. So I'm like,
I don't know.
What's the difference between somebody actually like surviving that? It's like he's not fully taking away their energy and just leaving them like the bare minimum. Like I don't know. But then the zombie girl and the gluttony, like they just completely like avoided it. So that was that was good on their part.
That's going to be a question that I felt like they shouldn't have left, like not from season to season. Like they should have just like given it to us, because I'm going to be like, oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. Like why is freaking zombie Sternritter like still here, you know? And then, I mean, but we were talking about.
Good thing we have this episode to re-listen to before the next season starts.
There you go. Way to plug ourselves for the future. I will listen to this one later on.
To ourselves.
But no, like, but even the Sternritter F, like you said, like we had been talking about him. He's so cool. He always comes in and does like all kinds of crazy finger blasting for finger blasting. But like he would do so much, and then he would never finish a fight. But then he would come back again. And he would be so strong, and I've still been waiting for him to do more in a good way. Like I like him. Like he's one of my favorite like Sternritters. But yeah, it is kind of hopeful that there is, again, we're gonna see them in the next season. It's just kind of weird that again we're in a fight so different now, and we're still like spending time on these like Sternritters that are like obviously munching on each other and doing all kinds of random stuff.
But from that squad, you have us like squad of protectionist personal guards. Like there's the one we haven't really talked about, and I kind of want to get your takes on him. But it's the one that's almost like hidden. Like you can't see his face. You only see his eyes, and I don't know. Yeah, like he's still kind of like a mystery, like at least for you guys. Like, what do you think about him? Yeah, what do you guys think about him?
That was cool. He's kind of like I think of him kind of like 11 from Stranger Things.
Yeah, I'll just hint at that episode with the meeting in the beginning. Like that kind of ties to him, and it's something that explains a lot to me as somebody that had read the manga. That I'm like, oh, okay.
Really? Yeah, but that would do his eyes.
No, you gotta wait. I guess you gotta wait one or 2 years for it to come back.
Dude, I don't know about him. He just reminds me of what's his name, Oracle from He-Man, the little wizard dude.
Yeah.
That has, like, Because he's just like
the universe.
He's a floating, like, wears a robe, floating black face, just the eyes. Like, I don't know, but no, I mean, cool powers and everything. I was kind of sad that he died so quick the first time. The second time, obviously, he was did a little bit more.
Well, he got it worse. He got the sword like right through his face.
Oh man, those scenes were so cool with that, like freaking Zero Squad guy, like the sword guy. I'm like, oh man, that's probably the better part of the fights.
What do you think about the guy, the paintbrush guy?
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm like, we got to talk about him because he's insane. Like, I think every time you think, and again, we already think. At least me, like, I already think that Yuha Baha has been doing some crazy stuff. We know he's super powerful. Like, every time he does something else, and like, I think Carlos, me and you in conversation, we're talking about it. How like even just that scene from like the meeting in the beginning of like 3 episodes ago, the things that I didn't even know about him. I'm like, why would the Soul King also give him one of his arms? But then it's probably because he wants him to be the protector. But then the more and more he talks, the more that he explains things about himself. Like, the more that he seems like he's very godly as well. Like, he's super freaking crazy strong. Like, he has the Soul King's, like, arm. Like, he freaking has... he talks about, like, his real name not to be mentioned lightly. Because, I'm especially with Yuha Baha, because I know they share that history. But it seems like there's something, like, his abilities to control and cut off names and cut off, like, existence of things. Like, dude, that's crazy. And then, like, his freaking Bankai that he kind of basically did at the end, where he just absorbs all of black. Like that's me, man. Give me a few years, a few more pounds, a longer beard. That's me. Like, I'm obsessed with black. Like, I got a paintbrush.
I'm seeing it.
I got plenty of paintbrushes. Dude, maybe that's the one that I should freaking cosplay next time we go somewhere.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, like, it almost sounds like you're gonna turn, because I met your wife's father, so it almost sounds like you're gonna turn to your wife's father.
And then, dude, no, that's awesome. But I do like him, man. And again, jumping in his fight, but like towards the end when he's like basically recreating his hands to like slap Yuha Baha down and doing all like this. I don't know.
A black ant.
He gave him the name of "You're an ant" now.
Yeah, you're an ant, and then he's just like stomp, and then he like stomps him down, and he's like, like insane. And that was just at the end of the fight too. But even earlier, he was doing stuff like that too, where he was just kind of denying him like nasty ways, and Yuha Baha every time like.
Couldn't do anything.
He set the border too of like, I'm gonna defeat you like within these 2 lines.
Yeah.
And then he like pushed them away and all that stuff, and then
the palm 1,000, 10,000 or 1,000.
And he even said that like his paintbrush or whatever that it was made before like senpactus were created. So like he doesn't even have a bankai. So, like, imagine, like, how powerful he is, and if he had a bankai on top of that.
Yeah. It's funny, because when he got his black taken from his body, his beard, he looked like, he looked very old. So I wonder if that's, like, how he really, truly is. Like, he's really old, but he has, like, again, if you control the power of black, hell yeah, like my face. It's like my facial hair is always going to be black. But, yeah, it's just, like, this idea that this guy, like, because, again, he's been around for so long, and, we do know that they do age, any Soul Reaper eventually like will age to a level, or I don't know if maybe because they're Zero Squad they never age and they always just stay the same because it's the Quincy King giving them the
Raichi or whatever.
Exactly, but
soul energy.
But super cool though. Like again, because like we always get disappointed with these people that can fight by using a paintbrush and like painting pictures or whatever, and it never pays off. But like finally we get one that's like, all right, this is cool. Like this is what it should be.
I think we've had we've had 2. I've seen 2. The what's his name? Sai from Naruto, and then from Black Clover, that one other captain guy.
What's it called? One Piece has a guy like that too.
A painter?
They can draw and they come to life.
Yeah. One of the Flamingo's family, that one chick?
No, it's like one of the samurais that from Wano.
Oh yeah. That one samurai, but also one of Doflamingo's family, that one lady that keeps making things like so much uglier.
Oh yeah, she's like a painter. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I know what you're talking about.
She's turning everything more cubist and more like minimalistic.
like Picasso style. Yeah,
that's funny. I don't know. Sai just didn't have a good enough imagination, man. That guy has so much potential. I'm so upset.
His son doesn't either. Don't worry.
Dude, like with so much potential, like literally anything you draw like comes to life. Like, dude, you could have just done anything. And given that this dude from freaking Bleach is like on a whole different level, but like, yeah, and it just pissed me off because like I defended Sai, man. He was good for like when we did that freaking thing, and he was create his birds and fly around. He's a good surveyor, like good scout, all that good stuff. But like his actual abilities pissed me off because I'm like, dude, you're creating like freaking little I don't know, he was a lot of freaking rodents. Dude, make a fucking giant ass rat. Like, make something like crazy. Like,
watch Black Clover because they have a painter in there that they
give me the episodes.
The massive like creativity of the painter. I'll look up the episode that way you can.
Dude, like Stern Reader V, like freaking what's his name? Remy.
Yeah, Remy.
It's been a while now. Yeah, like that. If he could, that was the same thing too. The power of imagination. That's what Sai had.
Oh yeah.
All he had to do was draw it,
Which
but
one?
either. Grammy, like he had the power of
yeah,
like from Bleach, like he had the power of imagination, right? That's essentially all side. Yeah, it was V. It was in a V.
It was
V for vanish. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
I thought it was I for invisible and imagination.
Either way, though, that's Sai should have had that mind, and he would have been like the ultimate like. Fuck Naruto.
No, I'm loving. I'm secretly applauding you for all the Sai hate because, like I don't know.
He deserves more love, but I get it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm one that liked him. I liked them. I just hated that he couldn't do more.
Yeah,
I'm Mr. Technically, like characters that have like no emotions, they have like can't really like show you anything. Like I'm normally attracted to. There's a big one, Ramon, the guy that I've shown you, Okyoria, that's on a run car. He's the one that's the bat. Like like he's the same thing. He's like
that breaks above the ceiling.
Yeah, like he's the one that's like same as Sai. Like he has no emotions. He like was born in dark. Like Bainey was born in darkness. Couldn't see, couldn't hear. Doesn't understand emotion. As you're getting to know him, he's also like getting to like feel things, sort of like Sai. But like like Sai just never did anything with that. Like they never did nothing cool with him.
Maybe that's why. Like he just lacked so much like. Personality and so much of like other history that wasn't so like Anbu ops and kind of like this dark like history. Maybe that's what held him back. Like I think any kid with a decent, shitty, and good life would have done some crazy ass things. But
remind me again, did he have to go do the thing where it's like, oh, these are your classmates and whoever's left gets to like pass? Is that something that was part of the Anbu training?
No, not for him.
That was all in the Mist Village or whatever.
Oh, okay. I just felt like there was like I just felt like he had a best friend and he betrayed. I don't know why.
It's his brother.
He had his brother. But his brother died in Anbu mission or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's what I'm saying. He does have a lot of history. Like he's, I liked him as a character. I just hated the lack of potential, or I guess his potential and the lack of ability when it came to his ability. Like,
the concept was good, but then the execution of it.
Yes, but I mean, I guess in a world like Naruto, you can't have everybody be like as good as Broccoli.
But dude, that is so cool. Imagine the idea of somebody like just taking a color like away from like the planet, the world, like just immediately like you see it like drain out,
like all the black or all the white.
Something that is just like it sounds so crazy. So yeah, that is really cool, man. Like
or
that
imagine taking away like a prime color, like a red or something, or yellow.
And I know we didn't get like a scene with them other than the one in the meeting, but like I'm almost led to believe that maybe when he was Yuhava was being raised, like he might have been his character, like his caretaker, like this painter guy might have been the guy that raised him potentially, or has been with him since he's been a child, like groomed him to become like this like. Maybe like a positive person, but sadly he went the opposite way. But it's like, yeah, you have so much history between these two characters. It's like this whole idea. Like
you definitely get the familiarity between the two characters. If they know each other for a long time.
I was telling Carlos that I somehow thought it was his brother because of the I guess the scene when during the meeting when they were talking about it and how he was like, oh, like also like the soaking basically gave him his arm, and I'm like, well, again, what makes him so special? But again, maybe it was years of service to the soaking, and then there was that one brief flashback when this guy, the bald guy, is holding the soaking's body. Do you remember that?
No.
And yeah, it was like in one of the brief flashbacks, and Yuha Baha is like, oh, like, what is that? Like, I can't believe you, or like, you're despicable, or you have like the freaking balls to like tell me this when I seen what you did. I want to know what he freaking did, because he literally had the Soul King in his arms, and he was like half dead or something like that. So
I did see the one like moment wherever that they have like somebody, I'm guessing the Soul King, that he's like just suspended somewhere.
Yeah,
but
that too.
Like, is that the Soul King? Because that's what I figured, because that's kind of what was happening that made me think that it was the Soul King, but he was just like suspended in I don't know whatever that thing was.
I was looking for his missing arm, and he had 2 missing arms from what I saw, so it made sense to me. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like with the whole thing again with the Zero Squad, that bald leader dude, Ichibe. Like I do think that there is way more to him. Like you said, Carlos, whether he was Yuha Baha's nanny, or maybe he's like a brother, or like I don't know, maybe he is like the brother, maybe he's his uncle. Like I don't know. Like yes, Raul?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have a question. So, do you think that the other Squad Zero members are like dead, or did they choose her because she can bring them back?
Maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, like I don't know. Everybody just assumes that like she's the strongest. Like from most.
No, I think they just chose her because because I think any of them, if they went full out with their bankais, could probably kill them all.
Well, we don't know that. And that's what I was saying, like, with her. Like, her thing was so crazy because within her Bankai, like, she did so many different abilities. I mean, it seemed like it was all some weird, like, trickery and sorts, but, like, everyone died.
It was a domain expansion.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what I'm saying. But even within that domain, when Gojo or Mahito do domain expansions, though, they're all like not limited, but they're all kind of basically around the same theme, right? Like Mahito's domain expansion is like hands. Gojo's or a freaking volcano guy was like all lava and like rocks. So it's like she was doing like multiple things, like
different rooms.
Like different a fun house, and it was a fun house.
Dude, do you think she has like actual 2 hands that she just doesn't refuse to use them?
What's in the cloak thing?
It is, right? Like she just doesn't use them, right? But they're like inside of her, like yeah.
I think she's probably controlling all the other arms with her 2 arms.
Oh, okay then.
I know if I had extra hands, what I'd be doing with my real hands. Same. Keeping them busy, keeping them healthy, keeping them nice.
Probably drawing.
Like, did you think it was a little bit anticlimactic how it ended? Like it just kind of ended like very like randomly.
No, I thought it was good. I think the build up was there, and then they kind of left it like at a cliffhanger to.
But they normally leave these like in a cliffhanger, like we're like, oh, we lost, and like, oh, damn. But like, no, we left it like in a way where it's like, oh, we won.
Yeah, probably because they're gonna come back and then we're gonna lose, and then Ichigo's gonna have to save everyone, like one, like Neo.
They did leave it at a weird cliffhanger. It was like a cliffhanger for like the same season, like next episode, on next episode. Like I didn't think it was like season worthy, but then again, I can't even remember how the last season ended. Oh wait, I do. You know what I didn't like about the episode? That last little bit at the end, that was a waste of time.
That was a waste of time. I was forwarded. Yeah.
With Cone, yeah. I was like, why? I mean, like, and he said it. It's like, oh, with like the time left, it's good to revisit some of these like fun adventures or things. But I'm just like, and I was kind of hoping there would be something like Demon Slayer.
That's what I expected.
And even Demon Slayer, when they do their little end bits, sometimes they have some really good nuggets in there. They'll teach you some stuff, right? Like when you saw Mitsuri, like that she paints and stuff like that. Like that was cool, right? But anyways, this had nothing. Like it had nothing. Like at least I don't know if you took something from it and you guys have watched the rest of Bleach. But
I was like pressing the 15 seconds ahead just to see if something real would come out, and like nothing.
I watched it all sadly.
That's kind of where I wish instead of 2 episodes it would have just been like the 1 45-minute episode instead of like, or not 45 but like
40-minute episode.
40-minute episode, yeah. Instead of like 2:27, and then part of it was crap.
Like I don't know if when it comes back we'll be talking about it episode by episode. I think we're kind of moving past that, but when it does come back and it airs completely, it's going to be really cool to talk to you guys about like everything new that we get, because obviously there's an attachment to it. And Ramon, I'm glad that from someone that didn't see this from the beginning, like you fell in love with it, from what I could tell, just because there is so many like themes about like dead and afterlife and Jesus and not Jesus. And I think like the Hueco Mundo
Zombies
stuff
and
that
imagination.
and even well, even like I think like the Hueco Mundo part they haven't seen that's like a little bit like more like Hispanic theme. Like I feel like even that touches with some of these like maybe like our folklore, you know, with like some of these like spirits and animals and what they mean to us. It's like it's always really cool, man, like, to see this being put into a show that's from what I can say has been doing it really, really well.
But no, I mean I think the whole concept of Bleach to me always like now that I've like watched the 1,000-Year Blood War like both seasons, like it's always been like attractive to me because of the dynamic that you just talked about. Like not only like the parts of it kind of relating to also like Latino culture a little bit with like the names and stuff, but even just the idea of like you have like your like human realm. You have Hueco Mundo, which is kind of like I guess it wouldn't be like
the underworld
or hell, but it's like the underworld. And then you have your soul society, which is kind of like heaven, and then you still have like one tier above, which is the soul palace. But then yes, you have Yuhabaha, who's like kind of like Jesus or Lucifer. But either way, he's kind of like the, you know the son of like the most godly like being in this show, and then like all of it is just pretty cool because it's a dynamic. I think it's like people they're watching it and they're like, why does this thing sound cool? Why does this thing sound so familiar? Well, crap, they're just taking stuff from like our like cultural, like everybody's cultural like freaking backgrounds and religions and things like that. And I think it makes the show good. You give them swords, you give them abilities, and fuck, like let's go.
Dude, like and it's crazy because like obviously there's still a hell, but we haven't seen a lot of it unless you go watch this one movie that there is this Bleach movie if you want to get an idea of what hell looks like in this world. But you know, the one thing that I want to point out is even though like there is this Yuhaba that, you know, again, he's Jesus, he's Lucifer. The one character that's still Ramon that you haven't really seen much of and I tell you not to sleep on is Aizen. Like Aizen's still around, man. And this idea that you even have somebody that to me, he's more powerful than any of like, you know, whatever's going on. And this idea that you have a character similar like Gojo, all you could really do to stop him was seal him. And we all know as fans, that's never going to be something that's going to make people happy. So I don't know if Aizen eventually is going to get out and he's going to go to some bigger plan or there's going to be a showdown between Ichigo and Aizen like later on. But I just feel like I need to show you more of Aizen. And obviously from what you've seen of Aizen, he's like somebody that's like, it's a mystery character to you. And I would hope that one that you get like a big reveal, more of him.
He's all for one.
You guys don't think that the Soul Reapers will get desperate enough to release him to go fight Yuhabaha?
Ooh, what did you read the manga or something?
I didn't read the manga. Storytelling, dog. Like it just makes.
I don't think that they would because there's no way that they're gonna get him back. But
yeah, that's the thing, man. Like,
but I mean, if it's gonna come down to the end, like it's gonna come down to like if you don't stop Yuhabaha or whoever this ultimate being at some point is gonna be of like killing everybody, like wouldn't you maybe do that in hopes that?
Well, dude, honestly, like if you gave me like pick Yuhaba or Aizen, I might go with you. Even though Aizen, you're my Lord and Savior, and I worship you. I do feel like, you know, if you gave me a choice between who do I want this world to be ruled by. Aizen, I have no idea what the hell he wants, and he scares me. Where Yuhaba, at least if I kiss his butt and worship him, he might not like, you know, disintegrate me or experiment with me. So like I might choose Yuhaba than Aizen because Aizen's like, at this point, there's nothing that can really get rid of him. He's like pure evil, man. Like all I can say about Aizen is like pure evil, like the finest form of true evil.
No, I completely agree. Like if I was like a Soul Reaper, I would much rather fight against Yabba Dabba Doo than Aizen because with him, you know what you're getting. He's a Quincy. He's gonna try to kill the Soul King, and then you like his underlings are stronger, but like he, you know what he can do and what he's up to. But with Aizen, like it's so hard to even like fathom a way to defeat him because of what his power is, that there's no way that you can like it's so like I feel like you almost kind of got lucky when he did die the first time. So
yeah, I think it's gonna happen. Well, I mean, because isn't isn't like Yuhabaha's like ultimate goal anyways is just to kind of destroy like the freaking Soul King.
He wants to merge everything together.
And merge everything together. So, and then somewhere in there, Aizen, I'm sure, is not going to agree with it or somehow it's gonna come to that. Either way, though, that's what freaking excites me because they're telling me like he's so crazy good, and I mean not good in that way, but like so crazy that I'm just like it's gonna come to that, or not necessarily maybe them too, but in general he's gonna get out, and I don't know. I'm excited. I'm just excited. Let's just keep going.
No, dude, no, for sure. Like even 5 seconds, it's like people get so excited for it, but. Thank you guys. Thank you, Ramon, for doing this role. Obviously, we're gonna move on to better and bigger things, at least in our minds. So hopefully, you guys keep listening to those.
Yes.
Well, more exciting things. Hopefully.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, again, I enjoyed, and when I tell people about this podcast, it is weird because I enjoy these episodes, right? Like doing it, talking about something on a weekly basis is fun because we get to talk about it and elaborate. But in reality, man, some of these episodes are not meant to be like talked about. It's just meant to be skipped, go into the next one, and then watch a couple more, and then skip, go to the next one. So I do like the idea that we will eventually just continue, obviously, doing anime because we freaking love this. But like whole seasons, or like big chunks of episodes, because Jujutsu Kaisen is going to continue going for another couple months, right? So we'll probably maybe do a monthly episode next month and be like, hey. Keeping up with Jujutsu Kaisen.
Jujutsu Kaisen, October,
and then the finale.
It's gonna be one of those things like one of us is gonna go on vacation and we need to do 2 episodes recording. So all right, what do we talk about? Jujutsu Kaisen, let's go.
Oh man, that better not be me. Actually, I lie. I want to go on vacation. Let's go.
All right, guys. But there's other animes too and other shows that we're not talking about as well. So.
We're gonna mix it up. So. We're gonna be mixing it up, like new stuff, full seasons. None of this one episode recap.
Unless it's some like amazing show that comes out that we just have to.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you guys soon. Adios.
Bye, con Dios.
Bye, con Dios.